Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Image Bearers. I'm Lacey Connor. I hope you all are feeling blessed. I thank you so much for listening. I just want to say that this podcast, if it has blessed you, it is listener funded. So if you could continue, if you want to continue with these wonderful stories, if you could donate or whatever. If not, just pray for us and stuff because we appreciate all you guys and I appreciate you guys so much watching. With that being said, I'd like to introduce my next guest. She is adorable. She is wonderful. She dropped into my DMs and I'm so blessed that she did. Everyone, this is Nicky.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. I feel so I love that I love that you messaged me and then you sent me I don't know, like a job description or why you're, and I was like, this is fantastic, which was great. I mean, it was because most of the time people drop in and then they'll give me a little bit, but you gave me all of it and stuff. And so it was so great. And I
Thank you.
appreciate, sitting down with you and learning about you, learning about your story. And I can't wait for people to, to hear it because I feel like it's a very redemptive story. And honestly is a very relatable story too.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So we'll get a little bit. Tell us, Nicky, about yourself a little bit, just like your kids, just a job description kind of thing, real quick.
I'm Nicky Smith. Real name is Nicole, but I don't use Nicole because as growing up, that meant that I was in trouble if someone said Nicole. So I definitely prefer Nicky. I'll answer, to Nicole, but I prefer Nicky. I just celebrated my 50th birthday in September.
So you look good.
Thank
you.
you.
It's black don't crack. Y'all look. It does.
That's what they say.
Oh, it does.
I am just walking into it. I feel with this story that I will share, every year is a blessing to me. So I am thankful and grateful to reach 50. There was a time where I didn't think I would even see 30. So being able to cross that 50 finish line is a blessing, a true blessing for me. So I have 3 kids. I have a 26-year-old that's down in Florida. I have a 22-year-old finishing up his bachelor's degree at USI. And then I lost my mind for a second, and I have an 11-year-old who is a 6th grader in school right now. So that's pretty much my life is around her at this point in time.
Right.
But that's really my life right now.
Right.
Her, so.
You got a little bit of amnesia, a little bit. You were
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm bored. Let's just remix this totally.
We'll see what happens here. My little 2-seater idea went away 11 years ago. So here we are. As far as work is concerned, I work for a hospital. I started out as a trainer and now I'm quote unquote quality assurance. So I just kind of go and when you're registering for appointments and things like that, I just want to make sure that we're following protocols and workflows and things like that and report back to leadership.
All right. You make sure people get that quality.
Yes.
Yes.
They're
doing the right thing there.
Absolutely. I'm very detail oriented. So when this position came available, I knew it would be a match for me.
Right.
It's been really good for me.
I love detail stuff.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, nothing's better than all the details and then getting them crossed out and just being I did it.
They did it.
They did it.
The training even I used to do, it's still working.
Right.
So,
you're look at them. It does work. It's that good accomplishment.
It does. It's really cool to see it. Yeah.
That's so fun. All right. Before we get into your story, I'm going to pray real quick and then we'll get into it. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this day, Lord. Like Nicky said, every day is a blessing, Lord, and we thank you for that, Lord. Heavenly Father, as we dive into Nicky's story, please just give her clear speech. Give her guidance, Lord. Speak through her, Lord. And I pray for anyone who is listening that resonates with Nicky's story. Lord, may they know that they are not alone, that you are with them, and that Nicky has been through that, and that she can put words to their story, Lord. I just pray for the people listening right now that are just downcasted, just tired, Lord, like we all are, Lord. May you give us peace, Lord. May you give us strength, Lord. May we know that you are with us. Give us the peace that only you can give us, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 All right, Nicky. Girl, how you said, so you hit on it a little bit that you were pumped that you've gotten 50 and that every day is a blessing.
Yes.
Now, tell us why you would say that. Like, what has the Lord got you through that? Now you look back and you're like, Lord, you were with me. At first I thought you weren't, but here you are now.
Absolutely. So my story, it involves domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I get an opportunity to do a presentation or just a quick awareness about it, it's titled "The Spit Saved My Life," and the acronym for SPIT stands for Survive, Purpose. Um, oh, I forgot. Pause.
Oh yeah, pause for a second.
Dang, what I thought. Oh my God. Survive, spit, purpose. Uh, oh my God. I've drawn a blank. So
What's the
let's.
T?
The T is thrive,
Okay.
inspire,
Inspire. There we go.
Okay.
It's okay. We
Oh my
all
God.
forget.
I'm so nervous. But
Oh
anyway.
no, don't.
Yeah. So the spit meaning survive, thrive. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry, survive, purpose, inspire, and thrive.
Okay.
So it goes back early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and found myself in a domestic violence situation. So when I say that, yeah, every day is a blessing for me to reach the milestone of 50, it truly is. Started out, it was just a typical relationship
Mm-hmm.
that you start out with. You think you found your person and everything's going great. And then all of a sudden little things just start happening. And so that just kind of continued over time. And before I knew it, I was in not only just an emotional abuse, but also physical abuse as well.
Right. Now I have a question. This relationship, when did you start? You said at first it was, like a normal relationship. It seemed, good. Everything was good. When did you start seeing, like signs or something was up? You were like, this doesn't seem right, or he's acting a little more than he should.
Yeah. I think when I really look back and think about it, some of the signs were isolation.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what I experienced was they want to get you where you're only dependent upon them. So isolation began with, oh, I used to talk to my grandmother every day. I would take her to the store and things like that. And then it started like, oh, well, you don't need to do that. Why can't somebody else do it?
Mm-hmm.
And so being in my younger 20s, just kind of even dealing with my own low self-esteem. Here it is, this guy, he loves me. He thinks he's great. So I just took it as, oh, he just wants to spend more time with me.
Right.
But now that I'm older and wiser and have really looked at, the things that was happening, that was part of the isolation. So he didn't want me to really have any friends. He didn't want me to really be around my family. He wanted me to just be dependent and reliant on him and what we had built together.
Right. Do you think that was like, like when you were younger and stuff, where you were like, oh my God, he likes me so much, he wants to hang out. Did you ever think like, he wants to hang out a little bit, or you were like, this is so cute?
This is so cute. It was exactly that. It was never, oh my God,
right? Like something's
weird.
Up. Yeah.
No, it was the total opposite. It was just like, oh my God. And plus I would say thicker. I was overweight, and he was very attractive. So I'm thinking, at my own low self-esteem, like, oh my God, how could he want to be with me? He looks so good. He sings, he dances, he does all these things.
He's dancing
yeah,
too.
And
dancer gets me
he
too.
goes, he's involved with this little band, and they're doing all these things. Why would someone like him be interested in someone like me? So I just thought, oh, he just really wants to be around me.
Right.
He just really wants to, have me to himself.
Right.
And that's basically what he did, because there was a point where I had stopped all communication with family, with friends. I stopped going to church. I stopped being around even my coworkers at work. I really secluded myself to just him and him only.
Really?
Yes.
Huh? Isn't that weird? It's just so, now looking back, you're probably like, oh, girl, but at the time you probably were just like, yeah, no, he wants to hang out with me. And so like breaking up all, not like communication, but like relationships and stuff. Did you, like while you were doing it, were you like, no, he just wants to hang out? Like you didn't see anything too much problem. Did you have anyone like be like, why do you not want to hang out with me anymore? Or?
No, I didn't even really think about it.
Right.
Because he the way that it worked, it went into me not speaking to even my family.
Yeah.
Was there was an accusation of him having an affair, and my family brought it to me, and I was like, they're saying you're having an affair, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, they just want to break us up. And so I pretty much took his word over my family's word, which he indeed later on I did find out he was having an affair. So he used that and me just wanting to keep my marriage, keep trusting him.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I believe him over my family, and it just spiraled from that. So he really got what he wanted because I did choose him over my family.
Right, which is such it's a dilemma because we do, like, when we are married to our husbands and stuff,
Right.
we want to be a good wife. We want that, like, biblical marriage kinda like, yes, we are, like, we're on our husband's side, we're not going, because, we all hear the stories of, like, someone choosing their family over their husband, and then it just, like, then it goes downhill, and you don't, like, you want to be a good Christian woman, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a very understandable thing for you to do.
Yes, and I wanted that same white picket fence like my grandparents. They were married 50 plus years. So in my mind, that's the ideal marriage. You get married once, you don't divorce.
Yeah.
You hang in this and you hang in there and you keep family, your business is your business.
Yeah.
So I kind of modeled that. But even with that, even though, before we got married, my grandmother even told me, she was like, Nicky, don't marry this man. Only thing he's going to do is bring you down. And that stuck with me. So even while we're going through this, relationships with family and everything are falling apart, I still have that in the back of my mind. Like, no, he's, kind of like that. No, he's not gonna break me. Like trying to prove my grandmother wrong.
That's what I was
like, no,
say.
You're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know how we go that defiant age, that defiance. Like, no, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Right.
Well, she was right, but in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm gonna prove you wrong. My marriage is gonna work, and it will be fine.
Because we do. We all want our marriage, especially when we're younger and stuff. We all, no matter what we want our marriage, age doesn't matter. But like we want it. But even when we're in our 20s and stuff, we still have that like pride and stuff.
Yes.
We're still young. We still don't. We like to think we know it, but yes. It is such a, right there, it's a difficult situation right there, trying to figure it out. And then you're like, I love my boo. Like, I'm trying to, be the best I can.
Yeah,
like,
I want my marriage.
Right.
I want my marriage.
I feel like also people tell you like, oh, marriage is hard. So then when we hear it a lot, so I think people need to also explain what they mean by that, because then when people go into marriage being like, oh, it's hard, everyone says it's hard, this must just be the hardness of it.
Exactly.
Right?
We get through this, we're good.
Like, we're going to be good. It's going to build it and
stuff. Absolutely.
It is. All right. Sorry. No, but I feel you on that, because it's that like line you flirt with where it's like, when is it, like it's rough, like life's hard, like life is difficult. So marriage is going to be, everything's difficult because life and stuff. Where is that to like, this is not healthy. This is actually more than just like like marriage dilemma.
Right. Absolutely.
And then that's where when did you start, like what started happening? He isolated you, and then what went from there?
The isolation began, and then, months later, time heals, as they say, sometimes time heals wounds. Got back on track with my family. I was expecting. So got back on track, and I also, from what I can remember, I really think things spiraled out when I had the gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, I was overweight. So I was 240 pounds at 5'1", size 24. And so I had the gastric bypass surgery. And so with that, I lost a lot of weight. Well, with losing weight, of course, that builds up your confidence. That builds up your self-esteem, which, as I said in the beginning, that was very low when I met him. Like, oh my God, I never thought I was a prize for him. I always felt the opposite, So that built up my self-esteem. I'm starting to, have confidence in myself, confidence in who I am. And once that started, it was like he totally changed. Everything just started to change. He really became obsessed with where I was going, who I was going with. He would even drop me off at work. He would pick me up at work. I never drove myself to work. It was that intense.
Right.
And then one particular day, this is how I knew something really is going on here.
Mhm.
My grandmother had called. She was like, "Can you take me to the store?" No problem. And, I did this regularly. It
Yeah.
wasn't something that was just out of the blue. And this was right around the time cell phones had just came out. So I had a new phone. He had a phone.
Uh-huh.
And I picked up my grandmother. We did our normal Saturday things. That was a thing for my grandmother and I to do our Saturday grocery shopping.
Mhm.
We'd hit up all the stores. Cubs, even going back to Cubs and
Uh-huh.
Piggly Wiggly, all the stores, that was our thing. That's what we
Right.
did. And so as I'm out with her, and before I even left, hey, I'm going to pick up grandma. I'm going to take her to the store, get some things, and then I'll be back. I'll be back. He's calling like every 5-7 minutes. He's just constantly calling.
What's he saying?
Just, hey, where you at? What are you doing? Just really not saying much, but just
Right.
to hear me on the phone and kind of, as I think about it now, just kind of listening to see if I'm really where I'm saying I am and if I'm really with who I said I
Mhm.
was going to be with. And he just kept calling. And it got so bad that even my grandma was like, why is he calling? This
Right.
is not something you don't do. This is something we do all the time.
Yeah.
You come and take me to the store all the time. Why does he keep calling? So he just kept calling. I would answer, and even while we're going through the
Mhm.
aisles, my grandma would be like, "Hang up that phone. You at the
Right.
store with me." Blah. And but I think it was just him just checking to see exactly where I was and what I was doing and if I was really with that person, which she was, yell out things here
Right.
and there to just her being her, but he just kept calling. And so when I finally got home, taking in the groceries. He seemed like everything was fine.
Yeah.
So in our house at that time, we had a basement, and that was kind of like his man cave.
Mhm.
So I'm taking everything in the house. He's talking to me. He was like, "Come on downstairs for a minute." So I go downstairs, and he's looking at me and he's talking to me. And I think in my mind, the way he's talking to me and whispering in my ear and things, I'm thinking we're getting ready to be intimate.
Yeah.
He had me undressed from the bottom down,
Mhm.
and then he smelled me. He literally smelled
He
me.
heard your grandma the whole day, like.
That wasn't enough. He smelled me.
Uh-huh.
And I was so humiliated.
Right.
Like I cannot believe this is happening. Like I just went to take my grandmother to the store,
Right.
something I do all the time. But he didn't trust that. He had me undressed from the bottom down, and he smelled me. And then he just walked away.
You didn't say anything else?
No. We just went about the day as if it never happened.
Yeah, right. What were your thoughts then?
I cried
Right.
because I was just so humiliated. And
Right.
then for you not to say anything, like it made it seem like there was something wrong with me. Like
Mhm.
I had done something wrong. Like all I did, and that's all I can remember thinking was all I did was take my grandmother to the store.
Right.
If I wanted to do something, I sure wouldn't use her because she's not gonna lie for me. She's my
Right.
grandma. She's old school. She's not gonna lie.
She's old school.
So I'm like, oh my God. So I was just so humiliated, and I never forgot that. And
Right.
that was the moment where I'm like, okay, something is really up. Like
Right.
if I had any intuition or thoughts before, I might have just probably brushed them off like, he just loves me. He just wants to
Yeah,
be
right.
around me. Because now, as I said, I'm smaller, I'm more confident.
Yeah.
I'm not just wearing baggy clothes. I'm actually wearing clothes that fit. I'm feeling like Nicky again.
Yeah.
No, that was not he.
How long ago how long have you been married during that?
At that time, we had been married probably 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so, I mean, it's such a weird, I mean, like, just the leading up to it, like, all the calls, all that, and then, like, you getting in there completely normal, and then this whole thing, and there's just altogether, there's so many, like, feelings, and there's just a weird, yeah,
Absolutely.
right? So it
Yeah.
would mess with you and stuff,
Yeah.
and then that happening, and then you were like, "This is not, like,
This is
some."
not
Yeah.
normal.
This don't
This
feel
is
like
not
it.
normal. Because now, because my mind frame is different.
Yeah.
Like prior to when I'm meeting him, and
Mhm.
I'm so low on self-esteem that I was basically willing to accept anything.
Yeah.
And I believe that he benefited from that. He used that
Yeah.
towards whatever his goal was
Right.
in that relationship. Yeah.
Right. And then you got gastric bypass, and then you got, I mean, I guess skinnier, but you still stayed the same. You just,
I'm still the
right,
same me.
right.
Like, the only thing that disappeared was this weight, this 100
Right.
pounds
It
of
wasn't like,
extra weight. It was almost like I lost a person.
yeah.
And I call that person my low self-esteem. My low self-esteem was in 120 pounds of weight that I lost.
Right, which is crazy because you're so small.
It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
You're a little petite thing. They can't see
Absolutely.
it, but you are a little.
But I didn't change. And in my mindset, even when I had that surgery, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'll feel better about myself for him.
Yeah.
I'll think more of myself for him. So like when I go to the clubs and I'm watching him perform, I don't feel insecure as his wife.
Right.
Because I feel
Right.
like I'm this,
You feel more of a
oversized.
trophy.
Yeah,
Like, you feel like,
I feel like the other wives in the audience,
Right,
like,
yeah.
hey, that's my man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my whole thought process. Yes, I wanted to do it for me, but also he was also on the forefront of me wanting to look better because look at him. I want to be the prize as well. So
Right.
yeah.
And it wasn't like you were, like hanging out with new dudes or any stuff like that.
My circle didn't change.
Right.
My circle did not change. But for whatever reason, in his mind, that's when things really started to go south. I mean, little subtle things here and there, but
That's
after
when you
that
were like,
incident, things just really started to spiral downward after that.
all right. And since you said that, like, what after that, how did it continue?
Just monitoring everything I did. I couldn't go anywhere without him. And as I said, it got to the point where he wasn't working, but I was. He would take me to work.
Right.
He would pick me up from work. Whatever we did, it was just me and him.
Right.
If as I said, I used to sing. I used to be in a group that sung around Indianapolis. I quit all of that. It was just strictly with him.
And by this,
nothing outside of me and him.
Right. And by this time, did you start feeling like isolated, like there's something more? Like,
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. But I also, in my mind, I'm also thinking I can pray through this.
Right.
He's my husband.
Right.
I'm here for the good, bad, ugly, all the things.
Right.
In sickness and in health. I'm here for all of that. And then I'm also in my mind hearing my grandma say, he's not going to do anything but bring you down. No, I'm going to prove her wrong.
Right.
So that's why I'm still trying to make this work. I'm still hanging in there, just wanting my marriage to work.
Yeah.
Just wanting to just really be in that and stick through it. I didn't want to quit per se on what I thought was going to be my forever.
Yeah. That's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's also very like honest and true thing because you do want to try to work it out, even though you're like, he hurt my feelings and there's something going on. Plus, it's weird that he's, driving me and stuff. How did you explain that to do you want to say anything when you were working and stuff?
My friends, my circle of friends now, a group of ladies who, oh my God, they helped me survive this whole thing. They started to notice little things. Even, my behavior at work, he would call and I wouldn't, normally we would go off to lunch or even go in the break room or whatever. I wouldn't move from my desk because if he called, I didn't want him to think I wasn't at work.
Right.
That's what it was. That's how, quote unquote, strict it was.
Right.
Like, I didn't want to leave my desk because I'm like, if he calls and I don't answer, I'm going to have to answer 100 questions. He may even show up down here. So it was that type of fear. It had now turned into isolation, but now I'm starting to fear. Like, if I'm not where he thinks I'm supposed to be, if I don't answer these calls at work, if I'm not outside the building waiting for him at a certain time, or when he pulls up, he may come even an hour early just to watch the entrance to make sure I haven't left and came back. So it's now I'm living off of fear. I'm moving in fear. I just don't want to upset him. I want to be where I say I am. I don't want to have to explain everything. So now I'm starting to live in fear. And so my friends at work, my circle of women, they started to notice this. And they're like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, nothing, just marriage. I just blew it off to that. It's just marriage. Things are happening, whatever.
Mhm.
And as this is progressing, I'm finding out, that there's possibly an addiction with him. So, we had one bank account.
Yeah.
And this is really when I had to tell someone. We had one bank account, and my payroll would be deposited into that bank account.
Yeah.
And so one day, I guess he was on a binge, and he would go to different stores and get cash back. So the bank never, banks are more proactive
Yeah.
about things like this now. But during that time in the 90s, it wasn't as
Right.
proactive. So he would go to different places like a Walgreens or a CVS,
Mhm.
whatever, buy maybe a pack of gum and get as much cash back as he could. Ultimately, that ended up with our bank account in the negative for $2,000. So
Oh, I bet when you saw that, you were like, eh.
Yeah, so even though I got paid,
Mhm.
I didn't get paid because my check is hitting this negative balance that's it's still in the negative, and he's still going around making it bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
And so now you can call and change the direct deposit within seconds.
Yeah.
Back then, it took time. It took paperwork, it had
Right,
to
yeah.
process. So for almost like a month, I got paid, but I didn't get paid.
Right.
So I'm thinking, how are we going to eat? And by this time, I had my oldest son. How are we going to survive? And I'm not going to tell my family. I
Right.
can't tell my family. I can't tell my grandma this is what's happening because she already told me not to marry him, So
I get it. Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not going to tell her I'm over here suffering in silence. And that's what we do. We suffer in silence.
Right, yeah.
For pride, for shame, all those things. And I'm like, I can't tell them.
Right.
But how are we going to eat? How am I even going to have gas to get back and forth to work? So those circle of ladies, one day I just told one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she called in her group. So we all became this group of women. And we went on to do other things, a group of phenomenal women. And I will never forget these ladies.
Mm-hmm.
They embraced me.
Yeah.
And in that moment, they even took up a donation for me so that I could go to the store and buy some groceries.
Right.
Because as I said, for like a month, I got paid, but I didn't get paid.
Right.
And I'm living off of fear.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies would actually do my hair. And so when I would go get my hair done, again, he would drop me off. He would call the salon just to make sure now he dropped me off.
Yeah.
He saw me go in.
Right.
But he would still call the salon to make sure that I was there.
That's good. That's Nicky. That's crazy.
And so when I talk about these things, a lot of people just think, oh, when you're in this situation, you can just leave.
Right.
But no, there's so much more that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's way more that goes into it.
It's not that easy. I mean, it's not that easy. Yeah. Like I could leave. Yeah, I could. But you also, by this time too, you had a son too.
Right. So I have to be not only concerned about my well-being, but now there's a child involved.
Right.
What do I do with that?
Right.
So, yeah.
That's the hard thing. But I see the Lord in that he brought those women to you.
Absolutely.
And they weren't just like, leave them. They were like, you know
Absolutely.
what? You knew I feel like people know what they need to do. It's like, but you can't, like, how else can we help? And they helped with like raising money and stuff.
Absolutely. That was a godsend moment.
Right.
Even in some of my darkest times. And that's why I want people to know, even in some of your darkest times, if you can God will send some type of light.
Right.
And so even though I went through that those women were God sent for me.
Right.
Because they were a safe space for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because no, I may not have told them everything that was going on, but I told them enough where, number one, there was no judgment.
Right.
Nicky, we got you. What can we do for you? It wasn't, oh my God, leave him.
Right.
We can come and do. No, it was none of that. They understood where I was and they embraced that. And they were just like, how can we help? What can we do? What do you need from us?
Right.
So they were God sent in that moment. Absolutely.
I wonder if it's just that is some godly wisdom, because I know I would be like, we need to get you out. How can we get you out? And they were just like, you know what? Okay.
Absolutely.
We feel you. We know, like, we hear you. Like, you are actually, like, heard, and they weren't like, so I feel like sometimes when we rise to the occasion, be like, you need to leave. What can I do? We're
Absolutely.
not actually hearing we're doing what we
Right.
think they should do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it wasn't that case. And that's what I also want people to understand when someone comes to you with that situation. We want to jump in,
Yeah.
superhero mode. I can do this. No, but sometimes you just have to meet people where they are.
Right.
And embrace that and let them know that you are there for them. And that is exactly what those ladies did.
Which that's some godly wisdom right there.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I don't know. I wouldn't be able to know how to figure out that one.
Yeah.
I mean, now when
Right.
I met with you, I mean, like, when we met together, I learned so much, and I will continue with the story. So you will learn even more. All of us will. So yeah, so the ladies helped you out, but then I mean, like, now you're married to this man who thinks you're creeping, and you're not one single bit, right? He's
Right.
stalking you and stuff, and you have this fear. How's it had it escalate into anything else now, or just controlling and kind of fear?
It's just still escalating. So as I said, there was an addiction. I'm not sure when the addiction started. I knew that he was smoking marijuana. Later found out that went into being laced with cocaine and may have been other substances as well.
Right.
So I believe that was a triggering factor as well, because now you need money to support your habit. So not only are you basically, quote unquote, I'm being stalked in my marriage, basically, because you're counting and dropping me off and doing all the things. You're making sure where I say I'm going to be, that's where I'm going to be. And the only places that I went were work and the beauty salon, because I had even stopped going to church. And so it just kept escalating more and more. And then, when I finally got things changed over with the money, where's the money?
Right.
You
That's
go
what I
to the
was
bank,
like,
there's no money. Well, I need money. Where's the money going?
That's
All
brave
those
of you
things.
just to do that,
Exactly.
girl. That was brave right there.
Absolutely. I mean, I have to survive. We still have to pay rent. I still have to pay utilities. Whereas, we can't go keep living like this. So, it just kept escalating. There's no money. It's like, okay, well, I secretly have my own money now. I'm trying so I can pay bills. I finally got my own, account. And see, even with that, I had messed up my own credit so bad that I had to lean into him having the account. Okay, well, if I have to go to Checkmasters or whatever to get something, or just go get my check cashed while we're on lunch, things like that. And that's what I have to do, because my son and we still have to live. So it was like, where's the money? One night he woke me up. Me and my son, we were asleep. He woke me up in the middle of the night. He put a gun to my face. Where's the money?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm pleading for my life. It was a 45. I'm pleading for my life.
Good. Yeah.
I don't have any money.
Right.
I don't have any money. And I stuck to that. And really, truly, I didn't, because what money I did have, I'm trying to, pay back people and, make sure our rent is paid, make sure the lights are paid. I didn't have anything, quote unquote, extra.
Yeah.
But he was like, I know you got some money. Where's the money? It's not going into the bank. Where's the money? And I'm pleading for my life. I don't have any.
All right.
Our son, I'm laying right here with our son. Please don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm pleading for my life. So he leaves.
Okay.
I call my grandma.
She got to.
And at this point, like, what else am I supposed to do? I have to get out of this. I call my grandma. I need to leave. I don't even have money for a cab. And she says, baby, just get here.
All right. Aw.
We'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
So I'm a mess. But at the same time, I don't even have money to get a cab. But she told me, just get here. So I call a cab. The cab comes to get me, and I go to my grandma's house. I had a trash bag full of clothes for my son and I, and that's it. And she paid the cab.
Right.
And another reason why I didn't want to get my family involved, because I knew there was a possibility that I would think, oh, he's going to do better. I'll go back, which I did. Even after that incident, I went back 3 times.
Really?
So when I speak to people and having conversations about domestic violence, it's so important to meet people where they are. The no judgment. Because if I just said that to someone, they'd be like, oh my God, you are so dumb.
Right.
Exactly. You don't want to hear that.
You're like I know I am.
Who wants to hear? I mean, it's just like when I talk about weight and you see somebody like, oh, you've gained some weight. Duh. I look in the mirror every day. You know what I mean? So
it's like I'm not new. I know this.
I look at myself every day. I know I've gained some weight. So why would I want to involve them and then go back and they be like, oh my God, you're so dumb. That is so stupid. Why would you go back when you left the first time? But I did. It happens. I own it, and I did. Not just once, not just twice. I went back 3 times. Because in my mind, I can make this work. This is the father of my son. I didn't want to be, another single mom out here raising a son. This is the father of my son. I want this to work. Yeah. This is my marriage. We can get through this. We can pray through this. I can pray whatever's in him. I can pray it away. Right. We can get through this. No, you can't. Right. But it took me to go back each time to realize, no, you can't go back. You cannot. You just can't. You can't afford to.
All right. And what do you mean when you say you can't afford to? What is that?
Meaning I may not make it out. I can't afford to mentally. I can't afford to it physically. I can't do it.
Right.
I simply can't.
And when did it hit that you were like, it got to the point where you were like, I can't do anymore? Like,
so that incident happened. I went back. One night he stomped me, kicked me a few times, still looking for money. And then the last incident was he dropped me off at work. And I came home, just a typical day, it took me to work. I came home, and when I walked inside the house, my stove and my refrigerator were gone.
Ah.
Gone.
Right. You were like.
And the thing is, at this point, I'm thinking, I'm crazy. Because I know when I left for work, there was a stove and a refrigerator. Like, I remember replaying this over in my mind. Like, I know I went to the refrigerator to pack some lunch. I know I went to the refrigerator to cook some eggs, some breakfast. I know when I left this morning, I had a stove and I had a refrigerator. I know this. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm still like, what happened? Right. But I'm thinking I'm crazy. Like, well, maybe did I cook this morning?
Right. But then you're like, why would I not have a refrigerator?
Just really in my mind trying to justify what has just happened. Like, are you serious? Like, where's the stove and refrigerator? So I asked that question.
Right.
Where's the stove and the refrigerator? And he said, oh, I got rid of it because they were not working. Again, in my mind, I'm not saying this out loud. I'm just in my mind because, as I said, I'm very detail-oriented. Like, I know the details of what happened this morning when I had a stove and refrigerator. Yeah. And then they came on this morning. I cooked this morning. I opened the refrigerator. The light was on. Right. So you're telling me that it stopped working? No. They were fine this morning. And he just walked away. He just walked away. And that was like, okay, this is it. We can't live without a stove and a refrigerator. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And so I was like, okay. So he left. And I called my grandma again, and I'm like, I'm coming back. Right. And I went back. And after I'm like, this is it. This is it. So the actual, as they say, the straw that broke the camel's back was I left and I was staying with my grandmother. And by this time, our oldest son was in a daycare that wasn't too far from where we lived. So I went to pick up our son from daycare. He just happened to be there. And as I'm leaving with our son, he's coming in. And so, of course, he's upset. I've left. There's no money. Things are just chaotic.
Yeah.
And so we're having this exchange. Like, I'm in a pickup truck, a little green Ford Ranger. I'm in my grandfather's pickup truck. Because by this time, I don't even want the car. You can have the car. You can have all of this. I don't care. My grandparents were so willing that they let me drive my grandfather's truck for transportation. Even some days I worked downtown, I would even catch the bus. But I just knew I couldn't go back there. And so I had my grandfather's truck, and I'm picking up our son, and we're right at the entrance and exit, and we meet up. And so he's lashing out. He's going off on me, blah, blah, blah. And so the next thing I know, and we both had our windows down.
Okay.
And he's calling me all out of my name and just we're going back and forth.
Yeah.
My son is in the passenger side, and I'm like, oh my God, we're just, going back and forth. And he literally hawked up a spit and spit in my face.
All right.
Even though that was the nastiest thing I've ever experienced in my life, a light bulb went off.
Right. That
was what I call my rock bottom. Like, that's my hello. This is it. I can never, our marriage, this relationship, it is over. I can never go back to this man. This is it. That was my aha moment. Even though it was the nastiest thing. And it was just oozing down my face. And even my son said, why daddy spit in your face?
All right.
That was one of the dirtiest, darkest points of my story, was actually the best part of my story.
All right. So that's what broke the camel's back. Then you were like,
that was it.
All right.
It was like I just felt like God he was always there.
Yeah.
But it's like, now I can really feel you. I can hear you. I can see you. I can think clearly. Like, this is not the plan that you have for my life.
All right.
This is not it. This is not who I have you playing with. This is not it. And it was just that aha moment. As I said, one of the darkest, dirtiest days of my life turned into the best day of my life. Because I never looked back.
Really?
I never looked back. It was going forward from that point on.
Lord delivered you from that one. He was like,
I never looked back. I can honestly say there was no regret. All the times that I left before, I was second guessing myself. I was still making the excuses for him, condoning his behavior, finding a way to still make it seem like it was something about me that made him behave like this. I made his problems my problems. No, your problems are you problems.
Right.
Because I got my own set of problems over here. I can't afford to take on anybody else's. And so, as I said, that was my defining moment. And I never went back. I never looked back.
Right.
It was like, what do I have to do at this point to secure a better life for me and my children? Yeah.
So the spit did save your life.
The spit really saved my life. Honestly, I don't think that I would be here. And to be even more honest, I feel like I may have even still went back.
Really?
I do.
What do you mean by that? Like,
if that incident hadn't happened, I probably would have went back to him.
Right.
By this time, we've had another son.
Yeah.
So I got 2 kids now. So yeah, I feel like a part of me, I'm not saying I would have stayed even then.
Right.
But I feel like if that hadn't happened, I probably would have I'm going to give him another chance.
Right. But that spit released you. You felt like a relief. You were like,
that's it.
Right.
That's it. And when I got home, when I got back to my grandmother's house, I told my family what had happened, and it was almost like I went into my own superhero mode. Like I went downtown, and I'm not telling everybody to do this, but I went downtown. I got me a gun permit. I got a gun permit because it was always threats. So if you're not with me, then you're not going to be with anybody. I don't know if he's serious or not. He's already done all these other things. What would prevent him from going to the ultimate? If I can't have you, nobody else will. I can't say that that's not what he's really truly thinking. I would have never thought he would have spit on me, but he did. So I got a restraining order. I got a gun permit. I did all the things that I could legally to now start to protect myself. Yeah, absolutely.
How did your family respond? Because I know there were several times.
They wanted to, it was on and popping.
They were like, you legit?
It was on and popping. It was like, where is he at? We will find him. I mean, it was on and popping. It was on and popping. Like, they was like, oh my God. And everybody, I mean, when I tell people that, they are like, are you serious? Because that's one of the grossest things that you can do. And when I went downtown and started my legal actions, I found out that was actually a felony. Yeah. And they put out a warrant for him. That's a felony to do that. That's so crazy. But my family, they was like, where he at? Where he at? Where he at? I went and found me a divorce attorney. It was like everything just started. My whole mindset just changed. I have to protect myself. I have to protect my children. And then I'm also fearful, like, because I'm at my grandparents' house. It's just me with my grandparents. They're 70, 80 years old. What if he comes here? Yeah. What does that look like? That fear. I'm still living in somewhat fear because I'm like, he knows where I'm at. What if he does come here? Right. What if he does,
Because you have to think that. He said it.
He said it.
And you got to hold people at their word.
At this point, who's to say he's not going to do that? And so as a result of that trauma, I'm now just constantly looking over my shoulder. I bought a gun. I'm carrying a gun with me now. I go to the gun range. I'm learning how to shoot. So I'm like, okay, this isn't really me. But at the same time, I'm also thinking I have to, what if he does show up?
We've all heard stories.
There has been women that have not survived.
Yeah. And you're like, I got babies. I can't just.
It's everywhere on the news all the time. There is some type of domestic violence situation where a woman has not survived. Yeah. So who am I to say that he's not going to carry through on those threats? Yeah. So what do I need to do? So I went into. No, it was an old show called Xena. I went into Xena mode.
Right. You remember Xena? Oh, I remember Xena, Warrior Princess. Dude, she ain't nothing wrong with that. This is a good person to pick. I like that.
I have to do now what I feel is best. Yeah. To deal with this. And all of that also comes with a lot of rage and anger. Yeah. Because now I'm mad at myself that I even allowed this to get this far. And I didn't do anything. Like, even when that happened, I didn't defend myself. I just cried. Like, you a wimp. You cried. Like, you know what I mean? But those are the thoughts that you carry. Like, you didn't even defend yourself. Like, who are you?
Right.
But you didn't stand up for yourself.
Right. That's just that negative. But that's how you feel. You still feel that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so about me, I'm at my grandmother's house. All this is taking place. I started going to church. There was a local church, but we could walk to it about 5 minutes away. I started going to church. And one Sunday I was sitting there, and there's some things transitioning on my job. Like, my particular position is being phased out. So I have to go into a new role, still with the company, but new role, new everything. So I'm like, all of this is just all at once. Like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Right. But, here we are. So I started going to church. And one Sunday I was sitting there, and again, just a God moment. The Holy Spirit told me to write a letter and give it to the pastor before I leave. And in that letter, it just explained said who I am. I'm going through this domestic violence situation. I'm going through a divorce. My job is doing blah, blah, blah. And I explained that to the letter. And I wrote it during service. And I'm like, I'm not getting ready. First of all, I'm not going to tell my business. Like, it's bad enough.
Right.
I had to share certain things with my family to come back home. I'm not going to share this. I know him, but I don't know him.
Right.
I'm new. I'm just, finding my way. But I know I need church. I know I need that relationship, that community of church.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the letter. And before I left, I gave it to him.
You were like, here you go.
Here you go. And then the next Sunday, there was an older gentleman who was still like my best friend. He's like almost like a goddad to my boys. He worked for the same company. He worked for AT&T. And he was like, Reverend Manuel told me that you're changing positions. You're going into this part of AT&T, and that's where I work. So I just want to give you some tips on, how to transition and how it's all set up. Not flirtatious or anything.
Yeah.
Just a big brother.
Yeah.
Just, came up to me. And then after that, the pastor was like, hey, I want you to come into my office. And we just started chatting. And he was like, do you sing? I want you to start working in the church. So I started singing. He actually put me to start leading the praise team. So it was like just by me following God's directions. Again, he started placing people in my life to help me along this journey. Yeah. Because my boys they had my grandfather, but he's older.
Yeah, he's old.
They needed to see a man not disrespect a woman or be threatening or causing harm to a woman. So when they would have Saturday men's breakfast, he would come and get my oldest son and take him. And, at that time he had a big truck. And my son still talks about, well, how's that man that had that big truck? So he left that impression. Yeah. And God knew exactly what they would need in that moment to help them thrive as men. And he also put me in something that was also my saving grace, singing. That's part of my ministry is singing. He allowed me to start singing in the choir, start leading praise team, things that I had said I didn't want to do, didn't want to be a part of. But again, that was God sent, and it was all part of my healing journey to get to where I am now. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love the thing of surrendering. You surrendered. And that's what you have to, in any kind of situation, you have to surrender that and stuff.
Absolutely. Because I've already been on this side.
Right.
Where else can I go?
Right.
I feel like I've been in the lowest of the lowest.
Yeah.
Okay, writing him a letter, that ain't nothing compared to
but you still had to get over the business.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're still like, I did all this and I don't want to have to spill the tea,
absolutely,
all the stuff.
Absolutely. And then as you mentioned, that self-doubt, we live in that. And we can stay there.
Oh, right. You don't hold that captive.
Yeah, you'll stay there, but it's like, no, I knew I had to change my mindset because at this point I went from fear to I hate you. I'm angry.
Yeah.
You have destroyed not only my life, but you've destroyed our family. You've destroyed everything that I had hoped for in a marriage. So now I'm angry. And one day I got so angry, I even went looking for him with my gun.
Nicky.
Right?
You were like
telling this because
it's true. It's honest.
This is the parts that we don't see. Even when we're looking at other people's story, we see when they're at the finish line.
Yeah.
But we don't really look at the nitty-gritty of what it took for me to even be able to still smile and have joy and have forgiveness, not just for him, but for myself as well.
Right.
Because I was in this relationship and I took on all of this. And so now I'm at a point, nothing he did is excusable. Absolutely. But how am I going to grow if I don't forgive him as well as myself?
Right.
I have to forgive him because I can't move forward holding on to that hate. And it's cliche, but that forgiveness was not for him.
Right.
It was for me.
No, it's true.
In order for me to prosper, in order for me to inspire, that healing had to be for me. not for him.
How did you, so you talk of having a lot of anger, and then how did you turn that into forgiveness?
I kept going to church.
Right.
I kept going to church, and I would get in front of the mirror, and I even do it now sometimes. I get in front of the mirror, and especially when the boys were younger, I would turn on the shower so they couldn't hear me cry. But I would get in the mirror, and I would be like, I would just flat out say, God, I hate him.
Right.
Look what he did to me.
But that's what you got to do.
You
have
have
to be honest.
Get it out. And part of your healing journey, you have to be vulnerable enough to look at the whole situation.
Right.
Look at it. I'm not saying stay there.
Yeah.
But you have to take some time to really look at what happened to you.
Right.
All the things that you went through. There's still some things that I will never talk about. I will never share with anyone, but I've shared it with God.
Yeah.
He knows about it. So he's even healed those inner parts that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, I can't stay in this state of mind. I can't be a good mother, a good sister, a good friend, a good granddaughter, and I'm still holding on to all this hatred.
Right.
Because he would call me and threaten me, call me all kind of names. This is still going, even though I'm left and, I'm changing, my whole setup as far as physically and where I'm at, mentally, he's still making my wheels twirl.
Yeah.
He's still causing trauma. He's still causing frustration. He still has me crying, going to bed crying, waking up crying. So I'm like, God, I can't handle this.
Right.
I can't handle this. So it was me actually doing the work that I want this out of me.
Yeah.
This is not who I am.
No.
I'm not a person to be carrying around a gun.
Right.
I mean, I understand why I'm doing it,
right.
but that's just not my character. I'm a people person. I love people. I love bringing people together. But me carrying a gun, that's not who I am.
Right.
And that's not who I want to be. So I just started in the mirror. I would just flat out, God, I can't stand him. You got to fix this. I can't live like this. So I'm doing that. I'm steady going to church, and I'm wanting that peace. I'm wanting my joy back. I'm wanting to be who I believe I am in God. I want to be a better example. I don't want my boys seeing me as this just angry person all the time.
Right.
Because it's gonna come out in some type of way.
Oh, yeah.
On them, on my family. It's gonna show up somewhere if I don't deal with it. So I just was honest with God, and I kept going to church. I was going to Bible studies, and it was on a particular Bible study night. And the same pastor, he was like, is there someone in your life where you can just be going along with life, and the minute you see them or they call, just anything that has to do with that person, it changes your whole demeanor? And I knew exactly who it was.
Right. You're like, he's trying to speak to me. He knows what's up.
That God is speaking to me. I done went to the mirror and said, God, fix this. He's like, okay, I got you.
Right.
I'm going to see what you do with this. And it was that very week, that Bible study. And he immediately, I know who it is for me. And he was like, you got to forgive him. You got to forgive him. When you forgive him, it releases you.
All right.
And that stuck with me. And I, honest to God, within a matter of days, I'm going to say 2 or 3 days, when he called, I was so cool. Normally, you gonna talk crazy? I'm gonna talk crazy.
Right, yeah.
I got some strength now. I got some backup. My people at the house.
Right.
I
You're
got
like, I'm gangster. I'm strapping.
I'm ready now. You ain't even never been in a fight, but you so ready. You know what I mean?
If you were to be in a fight, this would be the time to do it.
Right. Like, who are you? You're not. That is not your life. You are not about it. Just simmer down.
Right.
But at that time, I gotta prove. I gotta prove in my mind. Oh, you're not getting ready to just bully me no more. You're not getting ready to take advantage of me anymore. I'm going to stand my ground. And so, as I said, 2 or 3 days, he would call, it wouldn't faze me. I would just be like, okay. He would be calling me all kind of names, steady going off about me, this, and that, and I'm keeping the boys from him and all this. It wouldn't faze me.
Right.
That forgiveness, God had given me that forgiveness.
Right.
And from that moment on, he didn't faze me. He didn't faze me.
Isn't it's crazy because it just was like that.
But I know that it was because I was also seeking that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to continue to live like that. I don't want that hatred and that malice and that envy, all those feelings. I didn't want to live like that because at the end of the day, he's still their father.
Yeah.
And so I might have to interact with him at some point as they get older, graduations, marriages, all the things.
Right.
But I don't want it to be a situation where when I see him, I feel different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pastor had mentioned, who in your life somebody could just mention their name and you like, oh, it's on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was me. But I told God, I don't want to be in that position. And God did that. He did that healing and that forgiveness for me within a matter of days. It didn't faze me.
You had to give it up, but you had to recognize it was that stronghold.
I had to recognize it. And I had to be honest with myself of how I truly felt.
Right.
I didn't go to that mirror saying, you know what, he's just on my nerves. No, God, I hate him.
Right.
I hate him for what he did. I hate him for what he did to me, what he did to even himself.
Right.
He ruined our marriage. I was just flat out honest. And you have to, in order to get where you're trying to go, you have to be honest with yourself.
And with God.
And give it to God.
Yeah.
Just give it to him.
Right.
He's the greatest safe place there is. He's not going to tell nobody.
Right.
He's not going to bring it back up to you. He's not going to, have gossip sessions about you. He is going to do just what you ask him to do.
Right.
But we have to be willing to give it to him.
Right. It's true. I mean, the thing is, it's like God wants that freedom for you.
Absolutely.
And you holding your ex-husband back, that's not freedom. Like if he can trigger you like that, that's not what.
That's not freedom.
And that's not what God wants for you. But he needs you to know that that's it.
I don't care how many guns I got on me. I don't care how many restraining orders. If I'm saying one thing and I'm not doing that, it doesn't matter. If he's still able to trigger me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But when I finally said, okay, God, here it is. I'm laying it all out there. But I don't want to hold on to this.
Yeah.
Because I need to heal, and I need to heal so that I can be better for what's coming up for me.
Right. Amen. That's a word. And it's true because it's something that I feel like everyone struggles with. Someone has some person that hurt them and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it is like, I've had some in my life, and it is that like, you have to give it to the Lord. You can't hold on to it. And you think like, oh, I'm just going to tough it. Like, oh, there'll be a day when, and it's like, no, because you're not, because our human nature wants that justice.
Exactly.
They want that. We want to be corrected. You know what I mean? And it's like, justice is not yours. It's mine.
Absolutely.
And the Lord wants that freedom for you. And it sounds like that thing that was holding you back was, just your dislike for him and stuff.
Exactly.
And once you gave it to him, you had that freedom, and you probably were able to see your ex-husband in a different light.
Yeah, I can't fix you.
Right.
That was part of my mindset as well. If I pray enough, I can fix him.
Right. And it's about you. It ain't about you,
Yeah, I can fix him. I can fix this marriage. I can fix this.
Right.
Because I'm a fixer.
Yeah.
If I see a problem, I'm going to run to it. I'm going to fix it.
Right.
But no, you can't fix this. You
Right.
can't fix this. But what you can fix, you can't fix him. But what you can fix is you.
Right.
I can only control me. I teach my children that you can't control what other people think, do, whatever. You can only control yourself. And so at this point, what can I do to make this better? Fix Nicky.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter what he does or doesn't do.
Yeah.
When you're okay, everything else will line up.
All right. That's true. That's good. That's right. How did that continue once you were able to release that hatred of him and to forgive him? You still had to interact with him because you got 2 kids and stuff. How did that continue? Like, what did you see?
For me, it was just okay. If a lot of times he didn't really have much interaction with them because, for one, he was still battling whatever.
Yeah.
When there was interactions with him and the kids, I would even go to the point where, oh, you're gonna have them at your sister's house. I would drop the boys off, even pick them up. So little things like that. He wasn't around much. He didn't come around much. He came one year for my oldest son's birthday, dropped off a gift. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So as I said, it wasn't even about him. Even the smaller interactions that we had even after that, you're not going to upset me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to steal my joy. You're
Right.
not going to, as my son told me a few days ago, you're not the star of this play.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, no, you don't, you just, all that control that was there before, my mood is based on your mood, all of that is gone. I'm going to continue to be who I am, and I'm going to move forward because I forgive you.
Right.
I forgive you.
And those are some hard words to say too.
Absolutely. I forgive you.
Right.
And later on in life, I've been around him in rooms together. We've had a Thanksgiving together. So I forgave you a long time ago. That's why I can sit here and I can still smile and be me.
Right.
And I know that didn't come from anything but God.
Yeah.
Who can still smile and be around a person that caused them years of harm?
Right.
That's God.
It is.
That's not me. Because sometimes I even shock myself, like, oh my God, you sitting here.
Right.
My son's graduation. He came to the graduation and walked on senior night with me.
Right. And you were like, who is this? Right. When you abide in the Lord, you're like, who is this person?
Like,
I'm forgiving people.
No type of way.
Right?
Yeah, he can come. Absolutely. If he wants to come, absolutely. You invited, absolutely. Yeah, he can come.
Right.
He's welcome to your open house. Absolutely.
Right.
And that's nothing but God.
No,
that's not me.
Right.
Because if it was me, I would still be like, you so and so.
Right. You be holding that gat still, trying to pop off.
Like what? You got something to say? Step outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? So no, that's nothing. I give God all glory for that.
Right.
Because I know it was nothing but Him. And so that's what I want people to know that, it may not seem like you can get there now, but you can.
Right.
You've heard some of my darkest days. And even through all that, He spit in my face, but I can sit and have Thanksgiving with Him.
Right.
That's God.
Amen.
That ain't me.
No.
That ain't me.
No.
I'm a Virgo. I can be very revengeful. That ain't me. That's not me.
You're like, this is the Jesus,
yes,
Nicky. I'm still here.
I'm still here, but
I'm at my full potential.
I can say some things.
Right.
I can recall some things.
Right.
But I'm not like that. I don't want to be like that. That's not going to allow me to thrive.
Right. It's not peaceful. It's not freedom.
That's not my purpose. That's not going to help me inspire. That's not going to help me thrive if I'm still living in that. Yeah, I went through it. I sat with God in it. I told God all about it.
Right.
But I don't want to stay there. So what can I do? Baby, and it's baby steps.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want people to think that this transformation has happened overnight. No, this was months, years, days. It doesn't happen overnight. But if you keep chugging along, keep working on it, you will see the light. You will see the light. It can be dark. They turn off all the lights in here. It can be pitch black. But somewhere you can see a hint of a light. And that may be all someone can see right now. It's just a hint of a light. Focus on that hint. And pretty soon it'll get bigger and bigger.
Right.
Your load will get lighter and lighter. I'm a living witness.
Right. Amen.
I'm right here. I'm a living, walking witness.
Right. It's true. That's so true and stuff. And I love that you came on to talk about that and stuff because I love that you said, like, just focus on that small light.
Yeah.
Because that's all, sometimes that's all you got.
That's all you got.
You continue with that. You give it to the Lord and stuff. And you just keep staying in there. Even if it is darkness, it will become light one day.
It will. It will. As I said, I'm a living witness.
Right.
It will.
And I love that you touched on the, it's not just a day, like one day I woke up and I was like, boom. It takes time. And I think that's what we struggle with is that we want to be delivered soon. We want to be like feeling good the next day and stuff.
Absolutely.
But then that's not where the character is built. That's not where you get that, where you can only say it was the Lord.
I've heard, that analogy with that microwave faith. We want everything to be microwavable. We want our healing, our deliverance, anything we're going through, we want it instant. We want it to just be able to put it in a microwave, press 2 minutes, and it's done.
Right.
No, it's a journey.
Right? It's a journey, but then you tell people that story, and it helps someone. That pain you went through helps someone else's story.
Absolutely.
And lets them know that they're not alone.
They're not alone, and it doesn't last forever.
Right?
It won't last forever.
That's true. That's the thing. We gotta keep you reminded about it. It won't last forever.
It won't last forever.
All right. Especially if you follow the Lord, and so if you have that eternity mindset that you're like, this is just small. There's something a lot bigger on the other side. Something beautiful and freeing.
And God put along people that came into my life just at the right time.
Right.
To help me, whatever I was facing in that moment, God would send somebody or something by to be like, okay, I got you.
All right.
I got you.
And it's that small thing. That's what you got to focus on. You got to focus on the small stuff.
Absolutely.
To see the Lord in that. Because when you were going through it, you probably were like, Lord, where are you?
No, I was like, I don't see you. I don't feel you. How could you let this happen to me?
Right.
How did I end up here?
All right.
How did I end up here? And just to piggyback on that shame that we go through, it's like I witnessed even my own mother be in a domestic violence situation. So I had that mindset of, oh, that'll never be me. So even while I'm still staying, there's that thought of, oh, you're a hypocrite. Right. Remember, you said you would never find yourself in something like this, but here you are. So I even stress to people, we all have a shoulda, coulda, woulda moment.
Right.
Until we're in that situation.
Right.
We all will think, oh, this is what I would do. This is what I'm not going to do. We all have that going on until we're in that situation. Because after seeing my mother, I will never be in a situation like that. But here I am. So then I'm like, oh, you're a hypocrite.
Right.
You judged your mother. You had all these thoughts about your mother being in this situation, and then here you are. So, and now I got to go and tell them, those thoughts, they play in your mind.
They do. They hold you down.
They will hold you captive.
They will hold you captive.
Yes.
And it's just so crazy. I mean, I can just think of myself too and stuff that like that shame, like you think about like your family would have had no problem, like they would welcome you no matter what, like, you know what I mean? But it's that shame to be like, and plus also that intern, like you said, like, you're like, I saw my mom go through domestic violence. I was like, I ain't gonna, and then it happened to you. And you had that like, it's also just to like semi-go on the rabbit hole, like how we see our parents, and then we're like, we had so many thoughts and so many opinions.
Right.
And then the older you get and the more you experience life, you're like, you know what, they were just doing their best. And they probably had shame too.
Exactly.
You see that like, oh, that's why they made that, because you just made that same decision.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for my grandmother, even though she had told me that.
Right.
When I came back, she never threw it in my face.
Right.
She never said, I told you.
Because that wouldn't have helped anything.
That wouldn't have helped at all. And maybe, I don't know, she could have said it to,
she could have said your grandpa,
she could have said it to, her kids or, my grandfather. She could have, but she never said it to me.
Right.
And I cherish that. Because she could have easily been like, Nicky, I told you.
Right.
I told you he was just going to do this, this, and that. But she never did. She just embraced me.
Right.
And said, come on home.
Here
it is.
Right.
You and your kids. Not just you and your kids.
Right.
Just get here. And that has always stuck with me. Right. Just get here.
I mean, that's definitely just like God's love of it, is that like he's just open. It's that prodigal son kind of thing.
The prodigal son.
Right.
Absolutely.
That his arms are just open. He don't care what you've done.
Yep.
You are forgiven for all stuff. You're a brand new person.
Absolutely.
And that's what she did. Look at that. Lord using her. The Lord be using grandmas all the time. Right?
Yes.
Right, they do.
Nothing like a grandma. My grandma was my favorite.
Right.
Yeah,
oh my
absolutely.
God. She's my favorite, and I just know a little bit about her.
She was the best. Oh my God, she was the best. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you have to like awareness or like thoughts of just like someone that interacts with someone with, domestic violence and stuff, or like if someone is suspicious, like that their friend's going through it and stuff? What advice do you have?
My advice would be just be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Meet them where they are. As we talked about earlier, if someone was to come to me, and it's something I've also thought about, just in my own going through this. And also I didn't speak about going to therapy as
Oh,
well.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I've gone to therapy. I've gone now more in the last year. I would go here and there. So I believe it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like the same way God put doctors here for our physical, we need doctors for our mental. So therapy, I would go here and there while I was going through that.
Mhm.
But now, even now, I go on a regular basis. Because for me to even, yes, I'm healed. I feel like I'm healed and I've gone through this journey. There's still some things that I need to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
We're never done with growing.
No.
We're never done with learning.
Right.
So I go regularly now once a month. Just, if it's just to sit there and yeah, this is what
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. But it's just and it also a lot of people think that something has to be wrong with you to go to therapy. No, sometimes it's just about getting another perspective.
Yeah.
Because they can see things from a whole different avenue than what you can. And for what I experienced, that is trauma.
Mhm.
It's not just life happens. That's trauma. And you have to deal with that. You have to be open to deal with that. When I mentioned sitting in it, you have to be open to sit in that and deal with it.
Right.
So if that involves you also getting professional help, why not?
Right.
It's there for you. I tell people all the time, a lot of times we don't even use our EAP at work.
Right.
For my job, we get 6 free sessions. Yeah, I'm going to use them.
Right. You're like, I'm getting my free sessions.
Yeah,
I got trauma.
Most employers offer you free sessions.
Yeah.
And we don't even take advantage of that. So if anyone has someone that they maybe suspect or they've come to you, be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Don't judge. Because trust me, they're judging themselves enough. They are, giving all the negativity space in the world to themselves. They are on themselves harder than what you think they are.
Right.
That all that self-doubt, whatever they may be feeling, trust me, they know it. So just be a friend, be that safe space and just encourage them. If they bring something to you, okay, what can I do? And
Right.
if you just need me to listen, do you need me to listen? Do you need me to help you find resources? Do you need for me to pick you up? Whatever, just let them know that you are there.
Right.
But don't judge. Because trust me, we're judging ourselves enough.
Right.
Just let them know that you are there and whatever they may need from you, they may just need to just talk.
Right.
You can't fix everything.
No.
A lot of times we go in when someone shares something with us, as we said earlier, we want to fix it. We put on that cape. Hey, we're going to do this, and that. How dare? But
Right.
No, because sometimes that may not even be what they need.
Right.
They may just need to find someone that they trust with that information. And that's the first step. Being able to actually say to someone, hey, this is going on in my home.
Right.
That takes strength. That takes courage to be able to have to say that to somebody else. So just be that good friend. You don't have to go tell everybody.
Yeah, no,
When
don't
they
spill
share
the
that
tea.
with you, keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
And be there for them. Because ultimately, it's still up to them to make that choice or to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you being a support can help them make that decision to leave. Show them grace. That's something I've learned along my journey. As a trainer, we're always telling our students, give yourself grace. You're learning a new system, blah, blah, blah. Well, you got to give that same grace to yourself when you're going through things.
All right.
So give them grace. Be a solid friend. No judgment. Just be whatever that they need for you in that moment.
That's true. I mean, I love that I honestly didn't think about it as much, but they want to you don't have to fix stuff, no fixing, but also they know what they did. And I feel like people, even me when I used to hear things, I'd be like, oh, you need to leave, or
Right.
why are you doing that? But I love that you shed light, they know.
Absolutely.
The older I get now and the bad decisions I've made, I've been like, I knew.
Right.
I knew.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I think people don't it breaks my heart. People sit down with people and they don't listen. Like you
Right.
said, just listen, listen and they'll tell you what they need.
Right.
You can ask too, but also they will. But I think how you said, they want to sit down and they want to tell you some information. And I think honestly, it depends on how you respond is how they're going to continue.
Exactly.
If they can tell you the information, you just be like, okay. Is there anything I can do? No. Okay. But I feel like you just building that trust that could then save them later because they know they can go to you and you're not going to pop off or go tell them something,
Absolutely. Even just subtle things, as I'm going through this journey as well. If I'm with, say, a girlfriend and they be like, such and such, and normally the first thing we'll say, oh yeah, that's a good person. They such and such.
Oh, yeah.
That's not always the case.
Right.
Because maybe they're a good person outside, but they're a horrible person inside that home. So I've even learned to try to change my language when someone comes to me and be like, hey, so and so? Yeah. And I just leave it at that.
Right.
Because if you're automatically getting ready to give them the golden star of life, I'm not getting ready to tell you.
Right. Like something happened. Yeah.
Why would I do? You already in your mind think that they are a gold star.
And you don't want to, you honestly want to protect those people still.
Exactly. Right. So I've learned to be like, oh, such and such? Yeah. And I leave it there.
Right.
Because I don't know what that next, if they're getting ready to share, and that's not always the case, but
right.
I've just learned to kind of pause before I expound on, oh, that's a great person.
Right.
That's a great whatever. But yeah, they may be great to what we see on the outside, but that's not necessarily the case at home. It is a lot of women suffering in silence. The next time you're at a grocery store or at church, look around the room. Right now, it's 1 in every 4 women are living in domestic violence. You can go to McDonald's and see 4 women.
Right.
At least one of them has been or is in a domestic violence situation. That's alarming.
Crazy.
That's alarming. How many times we go places and we see 4 women? Right. We can have a teams meeting at work. You got 4 women on your team. At least 1 out of every 4.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
it is.
That's crazy.
It is.
But it is true, especially, I think also, I love that you brought up, when you're sitting at church, 1 in 4. I mean, I'm not trying to talk about church.
Right, absolutely. No.
There's sick people at the church.
Exactly.
But just because this person, like you said, when I first met with you and stuff, and you said, be careful what you say. Oh, it is hit now, because now people are like, do you know so-and-so? I'm like, yeah. And then I'll pause until they say something.
Exactly.
Because it is, because I used to always be like, oh my God, I love, oh yeah.
I love them. They are but that's what you have experienced.
But you don't know, they might want to tell you something.
Exactly.
And then you just put that down, and you could have been that.
You could have been that opportunity for at least them to start sharing, getting to trust someone with that information.
Right. Yeah. Now I take a beat just because of that. You told me that, and I was like, oh, snaps. Because I'm always the person that's like, oh my God, I love her. Yeah. Or he's great. And now I'd be like, yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
And I'll smile, and then I'd be like, I'm gonna give it a beat for a second and then see what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
But back to the church thing. It honestly is, because we hear. I mean, I always say the Lord's doing. He's cleaning house now in the church and stuff.
Right.
But we do hear so much about abuse and relationship, just husbands, wives and stuff like that. And I think that's something to be mindful even when you're in church. Don't just assume that just because this person is serving and all that, and you're hanging out with his wife or something, she's going to say something, just never assume. I always feel like this is I'm saying everyone's bad. They're not bad, but I think just take a beat.
Just take a beat.
Just take a beat. When someone says something, give a pause.
Absolutely. Because we're quick to do it.
We're quick to be like, oh yeah, no, because we want them to be
exactly.
Oh yeah, they're great and stuff. But you never know an interaction.
You never know. You never know what someone is going through.
Yeah.
Because before things really hit the fan, no one at work knew what I was living with when I went home.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew. I kept the face smile and, still quote unquote try to pretend to be myself at work, knowing I'm dreading getting in the car with this man.
Right. Which is so, isn't that, it's so crazy how people, I hear all the time and stuff, how people, you mask, oh, it's great and everything. And then people are living in that fear.
In that fear.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Just never knowing what may pop off one minute or the next.
Right.
Just my daily at night, I'll be like, Lord, just let me live to the next day. I don't know what may happen tonight.
Right.
But just keep us safe.
And he did. And you
He
have a
did.
you
He
have a
did.
testimony.
He did.
And now you can help people because of it and
Absolutely.
stuff. You
Absolutely.
found a redeeming quality in it.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm here for whatever purpose.
Right.
Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of women that didn't make it.
Mhm.
There's, Indianapolis is at least once a week, maybe every other week. There's been a domestic violence situation, so there are a lot of women, young, old. It has, and domestic violence doesn't have a color.
Mhm.
It doesn't have an age. It doesn't have a background. It can be anybody.
Right.
Rich, poor, indifferent, in the middle
Yeah.
income, low income, high income, millions of dollars income. It doesn't matter. It affects any and everyone. It
Right.
can.
Right. It don't discriminate.
It does not.
Right.
It does not.
I do have a question. How did your boys handle the hearing about their father and stuff? Or did they did you not tell them till they were older? How did they work through it?
When they were younger, I used to say, because I said there was an issue with addiction.
Mhm.
So I used to just say, when he wasn't around, not coming around, I used to just say, Daddy's sick.
Mhm.
And so we can't see him.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect.
That's what I would say. I would tell them that Daddy's just sick. And then as they got older, and especially when my older son started asking questions, God spoke to me, tell the truth.
Right.
Because for one, they need to know that drugs are out there. And this is what can happen sometimes when you involve yourself in drugs. Not saying that it will happen to you, but there's a possibility if you indulge in this. So as they got older, I explained, well, your dad is doing drugs.
Yeah.
And when you're doing drugs, it takes over. You don't think about your family. You don't think about nothing. All you're thinking about is how you're going to get that next high. And they understood that.
Right.
They understood that. And then as they got older, when we would talk, I explained to them some of the things that I experienced with their dad. I was very honest with them. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Because it happened to me. That's still your dad. You still love him.
Right.
He's still your father. But this is a situation. These are some of the things that led up to us not being together.
Mhm.
Because sometimes there was things thrown out there that were not true, or he would put the blame on me.
Right.
I
That's what I
just
was
took
wondering.
them away from him. No, it's a little bit more to that.
Right.
It's a little bit more to that. I had to get a restraining order because your dad was violent with me. So we would have those conversations.
Yeah.
And I grew up, as I said, I love my grandparents, but I also grew up in a home where what happens in this house stays in this house. You can't heal from that.
No, it's true.
You can't heal from not talking about things.
Right.
So I feel like with my sons, and sometimes it's backfire because they share any and everything with me.
Right. But that's a good thing.
It's a great
good,
thing,
but you're
sometimes
also
they're
like,
oh,
ooh.
Jesus, okay.
Lord.
And on the inside, how do I respond to that? But I've always had that open, and that was even before I got in this relationship. I'd always said, when I have children, I don't want them to be afraid to talk to me about anything.
Right.
Because life happens. There was things growing up that I just couldn't talk about, or if I was told to do one thing, it wasn't a conversation about it. You're just going to do it. That was that generation, and that's fine. My grandparents loved me. They did the best they could, and I will always be grateful for what they gave me. I love them. But at the same time, it was that mentality. What happens in this house, it stays in this house.
Right.
No. So I always had the mindset that I want to have that open dialogue and communication with my children. And I was very honest with them. So they know. They don't, as I said, even with you, there's some things that only him, I, and God will ever know.
Yeah.
But experiences and things more, even speaking more about healing, forgiving people, I highly stress that.
Yeah.
Because they needed to know what took place and not hearing it from just his side.
Right.
Because I also believe there's 3 sides to every story. There's my side, his side, and the truth. So I wanted them to have that knowledge and be able to even come to me and say, hey, what did you mean by this?
Right.
So I've always had that open dialect with them. And so I was very honest. Of course, depending on age,
Yeah,
I didn't go into the nitty-gritty of
Right.
things, but violence is violence.
Mhm.
You never hit a woman.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're in a situation where it's getting ready to get heated, walk away.
Mhm.
Find another way to cool down. You want to protect yourself as well as her. It doesn't have to result to that. I've had them in therapy forever because they're children of divorce, not just divorce, but of domestic violence parents.
Right.
They need it. Micah's in therapy. I believe in therapy. I don't want my children growing up whole.
Right.
Because we grew up whole and we didn't grow up whole.
Yeah. You want them to grow up whole.
I want my children to grow up whole. I didn't grow up whole.
Right.
So I want that better for them. And they've been in therapy, they'll go. And there's no shame in that, especially in our community. There shouldn't be shame in it. Even though there is, it shouldn't be. But yeah, they may get me for saying that. But they
may get me, right?
It's fine. But our relationship is so open that they are aware, and we've had these conversations.
Right. And I think it speaks volumes too that you forgave your ex-husband too.
Absolutely.
Because I think if you were to hold on to it, then they would be like, oh, I should be mad, or oh, is this going to happen to me? Like kind of thing like that and stuff. But I love that when you forgave him, and kids can tell if you forgive,
right.
like, oh,
absolutely.
we know.
Absolutely.
We know. And like, I think that right there, I think really freed you and your children.
Absolutely.
That like, like there is forgiveness. My mom forgave my dad, and there's no like animosity. There's nothing there. It's a very freeing thing not to just, because I've seen people who have not forgiven their spouse for like stuff that's happened, and then it goes on to the children and stuff.
Absolutely. It spills out. As I said,
it spills out.
It has to go somewhere.
Right.
It's going to come out somewhere.
Right.
And I remember even years ago, again, the Holy Spirit spoke to me just saying, you don't have to say anything against their father.
No.
He will prove himself.
Right.
And I've always kept that mindset. So, and that's how I lived. That's how I went forward with them. I was honest with them. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm honest with them. But I don't have to convey who he was to them because they'll find out for themselves.
Right.
I want them to have their relationship with him based on just them. And God has allowed them to have that.
Right.
So it's okay. When I say God healed me,
right,
it was a God thing.
It was.
It was an absolutely God thing.
I hit the mic, but yes, it is. It is a God. There's no way else to explain it. Honestly, even your story, there is no way.
There's no way. People talk about miracles. To me, that was my miracle.
Right? Yeah.
That was a miracle for me.
Right.
And to even be able to sit here and explain and go through my story, that's a healed version.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk about this maybe 20 years ago because I wasn't healed. And not even saying that I'm totally there because I'm not. I'm still a work in progress.
Right. Amen to that, aren't we all?
I'm still a work in progress. But I can definitely speak on from where I'm not where I used to be. And that's a miracle. That's a blessing. Or where I could have even went.
Right.
Had I held on to that revenge, I'm going to look for him, things like that.
And people would understand. People would be like, you get your,
if I do something to him, now they've lost both parents.
Right.
What does that look like for them?
Right.
So you have to also think about that. If you follow through with that, that means you're gone, their dad is gone. Where does that leave them?
Right.
You can't live like that.
No.
It's a God thing.
It is.
Yeah. It's
all we can say is a God thing.
It's nothing
God
but
did
God.
it.
I take no nothing in none of this.
Right.
I let it out. I spilled it out, and God said, "Okay, you've spoken it. Let me handle the rest."
Right.
I got you. You got to be willing to let me handle it.
Right. That's the thing.
I can't interfere.
That's the thing that gets people is that, it gets me still this day sometimes, is the letting it go and not like, you don't realize the stronghold or the barrier you're putting between by holding on to that. Like, you want God to speak, and God's like, I will speak, but I got this wall right here, and I need you to let that down.
Let it down.
Uh-huh.
Let it down. You can't hear or think clearly. You can't hear him clearly if everything is so cluttered. Right.
And you got to be honest. And that's what
you have to be
you weren't
honest.
just trying to do some Christianese, be like, Lord, he's really bothering me. You're like, I hate him.
You have to be honest.
What he did, I hate him.
You have to be honest.
You do.
You have to be honest. Even in, as I said, nothing he did is excusable, but I have to be honest with me, just saying, hey, you had low self-esteem. Hey, you didn't believe in yourself. Hey, the things that you went through as a kid. Let's talk about that. Everything it builds up.
Yeah.
Everything.
And if you don't deal with it, it's going to keep going.
If you don't deal with it, here you are. But I had to really deal with even my own issues.
Mhm.
My healing had to come from me.
Right.
So I had to deal with my own issues, my issues of the shame. Like that was my biggest thing for ever saying anything to anybody. I feel so shameful. I feel so dumb.
Right.
For being in this situation, a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, a lot of people, the biggest thing that they don't come forward is the shame. Because as I said, we're internalizing it ourselves. But then if I share this with somebody and they be like, "Oh my God, you're so dumb. I would never let somebody do this." Or blah. You should have hit him back. That's still violence.
Right. 2 wrongs does not make a right.
It's still violence.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just what I decided was, Lord, I don't want to be stuck in this place. I can't afford mentally, physically, financially. I can't afford to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with all of this. Because I've done, what man is capable of.
Right.
This mental stuff, I can't do nothing. What can I do with this? I'm going to lose my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Those thoughts. Should I, even the thought of maybe I should take my own life. Those thoughts. It's all kind of thoughts that you go through when you're experiencing that.
Right.
And so you have to sit, as I said, don't stay there.
No.
But sit there long enough to identify it and recognize it and give it to God.
Amen. Give it to God. That's what you got. Do not stay in it.
Give it to Him. As I said, sometimes we have to look in the rearview mirror just to see what's behind us. But we don't drive that way.
No.
We just take a glance. So when I look in my rearview mirror, it's just like, oh my God, you really brought me through that, God.
Right.
You really brought me through this. You really brought me through this. So when I feel like I'm going to have a pity party, God, I quickly be like, remember when I brought you through such and such?
Right.
You sure did. Let me get myself together.
Right.
And move forward.
Right.
Because if He brought me through that,
right,
why can't He bring me through anything else?
Right. Amen.
He is very capable.
Mm-hmm.
Very capable.
Right.
Yes.
Amen to that, Nikki. I'm going to end on that because amen. He is capable.
He is capable.
Right. Was it you are more than able? Who am I?
Yes. He is capable. He is all things.
Right.
Yes.
It is. Amen to that. We're going to end on that, Nikki.
Absolutely.
All right, Nikki, do you have anything else to say?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing
coming.
me to share this journey. And I am so grateful for you and all the things that you are doing. And just thank you. I appreciate this opportunity.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for reaching out. I mean, it's a God thing. And I definitely think your story will help. I mean, boo, it helped me when I just met you for coffee I was like, Lord, you spoke to how I should handle the people. I mean, we all learn something from people's stories.
Absolutely.
And I thank God that He brought you in our lives.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This is Image Bearers. I'm Lacey Connor. Y'all have a great day. Bye.